In this movie, we're going to have a look at symbols. Symbols are a great feature in Illustrator. And if you want to follow along with me, you can open up Symbols Jungle Scene Start AI. And you'll see I've got this little character that I'm going to animate actually in After Effects. So he looks a bit rigid at the moment because I haven't set up his positioning. But what we're going to do is create a scene around him. So what I want you to do is go to the Essentials workspace. And if you look down here, you'll notice this item here, Symbols. Click on that to open it and just make it a little bit bigger. And you'll see that I've already saved some symbols in here, but I just want to show you how I did that. I did that by going to the symbol libraries and having a look through these different libraries. I got quite a few of these from the Primitive collection. And you'll notice it opens up a whole load of symbols. And if I want to add them to my selection, I can just select them here and that will add them to the selection. And these are basically little clip arts, but there's something slightly different about symbols than from just standard artwork, and I'm going to show you that just now. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out our symbols and close up that, and then pull out our layers so that we have our layers and our symbols side by side, and just place them down there. And what we're going to start by doing is selecting the rock layer and then dragging some rocks down here to the rock layer. Now they're very small, so we're probably going to have to size them up a bit, so we'll just make them a little bit bigger. So there's one there. And then we're going to drag down this one, size that up. So at their most basic, they're just handy for creating artwork. And you can create some quite nice pieces of art with it. I can move this one over here and maybe reverse it. Let's create some copies. So Alt-click or Option-click and drag will create a copy. And we'll just reverse scale it from this side. Holding down the Alt key or Option key while I drag will constrain it. And we'll create a copy of this, so Alt-click and drag to create a copy of that. So we have some rocks. We're now going to put in some smaller rocks, so let's place them in. And we'll place a couple of them in here just to break it up a little bit, and I'll make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so we've got some rocks. We're now going to put in some grass. So let's go into foreground and let's drag in some grass. And I'm going to place that down there and just size it up a little bit. Make it a bit bigger, and let's drag in this piece here. Make that a bit bigger. And we'll Alt-click and drag that a couple of times just to create some foreground grass. Okay. So we can go on and on doing this. There's a couple of palm trees in there somewhere, I think. Let's drag a palm tree into the palm tree layer. Place that in there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and we'll pop that down to the background so it's behind the rocks. And we'll maybe put another palm tree in. Let's make that a lot bigger actually. Let's make a really big palm tree. Okay, and then we'll drag another one in and have a smaller one in the distance somewhere. Okay, perspective's not quite right, but we're not going to worry too much about that. We'll also bring in a little hut. We'll place that in there. Make it a little bit bigger. And just place that into the background somewhere behind my main character. So you get the idea, you can build a scene using these symbols. But the nice thing about symbols is the multiple instances are all related to each other. Which means if I select one of these grass layers and I go up here to Edit Symbol, it's going to tell me you're about to edit the symbol definition. Any edits to the symbol will be applied to all its instances. Do you want to continue? Well, I'm going to say don't show that again. I'm going to click OK. And now what happens is it isolates the symbol. And if I select it, so if I just select that grass and make it bigger, and we'll just extend it out this way as well. Okay, and then go back to my main window, all the grass grows. Okay, so not just that piece of grass. So it's quite powerful. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to make all the grass grow that much. So let's just bring that down to a little bit more of a sensible height. But we could do things like change the colour of the grass as well. So I could go into my swatches and choose, I don't know, pink grass instead of green grass. And then I come back out and all the grass has gone pink. So it's really designed for people who are designing maps and things like that, so that they have repeating elements that they can change as a group. And that's what symbols are really designed for. But you can use it in your creative projects also to create these really nice effects. And for example, if I decide the rocks are too big, these two rocks I want to make bigger, I only have to go and edit one of them and the other one will update. So let's select that one. Let's make it a little bit bigger and go back into our scene, and both of those rocks have got bigger. Now you'll notice that when we go into edit, it goes back to the original size of the symbol. So you have to kind of compensate for that when you're making changes. Remember what the original size was and make changes to that. But you might decide that you only want 2 coconuts on the tree, for example. So you remove it from this and it will remove from that as well. Now, if you do want to edit one independently from the other, maybe I just want to make this a different colour, but I don't want to affect that one. You can say break link, and that breaks the link so that you can then edit this without affecting that one. So you can break the link from it being a symbol and just make it into a regular layer. So what I want you to do is have a little play building a scene out of symbols, and then we'll move on to the next bit where I show you how to create your own custom symbols. So enjoy having a little play with this scene and see what you come up with. If you want to have a look at my final scene, I'm going to open that now. Here is my symbol scene. Okay, I haven't finished it. I've just played around adding some symbols into the scene. So just have a little play with it. Don't take it too seriously and build your own symbol scene.